This is a Joy 96.5 interview. For more, joyfm.ca. Joy 96.5, this is Justin here. I am on location in Moncton, New Brunswick at the Inspire FM studios. How cool is that? And it's so, you got to see it here. It's so techy. It's way more advanced than what we have, and I love it. And I'm joined right now with artist Jamie Hiscox. And how are you doing today, Jamie?
I'm doing good, Justin. How are you doing?
I am doing wonderful. Now, something I like to do right off the bat, because some people, maybe they don't know who you are. Maybe they've only heard a couple songs by it. Why don't you give us a little Coles Notes? You know, who you are, where you're from, what your deal is.
Sure. Yeah. So I'm my name's Jamie Hiscox. I'm from southwestern Ontario. Mm-hmm. We live just between Sarnia and London. Myself, my beautiful wife, 3 children, Haley, Levi, and Jessa. So that's the Hiscox family. And we live in southwestern Ontario. I work for a plumbing company.
Okay.
Shout out to Plimpton Plumbing. Those boys are great. And they free me up to do stuff like this, so I appreciate them big time. And I do music when I can.
Okay, well, I have to say, I saw your hat, and I figured my dad is a blue collar. He owns a wood stove heating shop.
Great.
So I just noticed it, and I was like, that's got to be some type of trade.
Yeah,
it has to be.
So Rideau, that's water filtration kits, right? Because with plumbing, we do everything from bath, kitchen, water filtration from the kitchen, and everything in between. There's a big showroom at Reese's Corners, Ontario, and in the showroom, they have displays of showers, of kitchens, of bathrooms, and I'm kind of the jack of all trades. That I help the company where they need. Sometimes I'm helping the plumbers. I can plumb a little bit, but I just help them with that. I do a bit of everything.
See, I can relate to that, because what I do for work, I have to be a jack of all trades.
That's it.
And not with my hands or anything, but
that's it.
And it makes me wonder, like, you're doing all this, and where does music come in? Have you always been musical? Did you just singing while you're working, and you're like, hey, I can do that?
No. So music was actually birthed, unfortunately, out of a lot of heartache.
Okay.
The big catalyst would have been my brother's death. He died at 4 days before 21.
Okay.
And we sang a song at his funeral, and I just realized music is powerful in that moment, and music can be used to reach people for both good and bad.
Right.
So
how long have you been doing music at this point?
So that was 2007 when he passed away.
Right.
So that was we're going on 17 years.
Gotcha.
I did a little bit of music before that in cover bands and in bars and stuff.
Yep.
But the gifting definitely came when tragedy struck.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so you have music out right now.
Correct.
Why don't you tell me about your newest song?
Yeah. So the newest song is Goliath.
Okay.
Goliath is. Have you ever been in the fight of your life?
Oh yeah.
Have you ever been punching way up against your weight class? Have you ever been, given a terrible doctor prognosis? Have you ever received that phone call that your older brother was just killed in a motorcycle accident? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
These moments in time where you are up agained the odds.
Right.
That's what Goliath is about.
Man, that's good. Some of the best songs come out of situations like that. It makes me think about we had Jordan St. Cyr in Fredericton.
Fantastic.
And he talks about his song Fires, about his daughter was diagnosed with this wild rare disease. I think he said there's four people in Canada that have it, and it really pulls it out of you, right? And you're able to talk about it in a way. Now, how have you found performing it live?
Sure.
And that's obviously you're a musician. That's where it's at.
Yeah.
How has that resonated with audiences when you're talking to people after?
Well, the thing is like it's always coupled with my story, right? So I just before talking with you, I was at Teen Challenge, the Atlantic Canada Centre in Merrim-Cook, and I got to share Goliath. I got to share The Shore, which has been playing a lot on Inspire FM. Listeners in Atlantic Canada have been really grabbing a hold of it. I'm really thankful for that.
Good.
And then I got to share my story, which those songs. There's not pinpoints in time where I'm like, I felt like this for a moment, and then I wrote The Shore.
Right.
It's a collective. It's a collective of a long road to recovery, and how Jesus has recovered me.
Wow, that's good. That's beautiful. So, I was talking to you a little bit before we came on, and I kind of want to switch gears because it's not often I have a Canadian artist in front of me that can kind of weigh in.
Sure.
And, in Canada, people might not realize this, but the way it works with music is that you have to meet certain criteria to be able to be considered Canadian.
That's right.
There's 4 different categories. We won't get into the weeds of it, but one of those things is we all have percentages what we have to play.
That's right.
And we have to find these artists. And from the artist side, I know as music directors, we're getting a ton of stuff sent to us all the time, and we have to sift through it because some of it isn't great.
That's right.
And then some of it is.
Yeah.
And it's our job to figure out who is who. But as radio station, as radio station programmers and music directors, for you as an artist, what is something do you think that we can help so we can work together so we can let you know, hey, this is good for radio, or maybe like how can we support you a little better in getting your career going and getting eyes on you?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question, Justin. So I would say that one of the other Goliaths in my life is me.
Right.
Is me. Like, meaning like when I step out and knock and continue to knock and continue to knock, then I find myself retracting back to the you're no good.
Right.
Nobody likes you. You have nothing to offer. And it's not true.
Right.
But these are things that I've had to surrender to God, being like, no, you've called me to do this, and I'm gonna keep going, but I'm gonna bring it to you, Lord. This is really tough. I've knocked and knocked and knocked and knocked and knocked, and at the end of the day, you just become more aware of both sides of the story. I am an unknown,
right,
and that's okay. That is something that I've had to come to terms with and realize, but I'm known by my Father who owns cattle on 1,000 hills.
Yep.
And he will open the door like this door me and you are talking today.
That's good.
So from a artist standpoint, or I'm speaking to artists right now, but keep knocking, keep seeking, keep bringing it to the Father, and lay your desires, lay your heart's dreams to the Father, because he cares for you. To music directors all across Canada, my hat does go off to you guys, because you guys are receiving sometimes 1,000 emails a week, and like you said, sifting through the masses. So I get it. I do. I understand about being taxed and overworked and sometimes underappreciated.
Right.
So I do get it. I would say that when you guys are able to, which you have done, Justin, you've done that for me. You guys have reached back out and said, hey, Jamie, that's a good song. And then I would say to build on that is to sit there when stuff that isn't great, when you can, just when you can.
Right.
And is constructive criticism, because there's a lot of artists out there that get super butthurt about everything.
Right.
And that's the creative types. Sometimes I'm speaking to you creative types because I was there. I think that I'm 38 now, so God's really grown me in that. But don't take everything so serious,
right?
And don't think that everyone's out to get you, because it's sometimes not all about you.
That's good, man. That's good.
Because I used to think the world revolved around me. It doesn't. You weren't like, I'm speaking to creatives sometimes have that aura. Like,
I totally 100%.
Yeah, it's not all about you.
Yeah.
And if you're following Jesus, that is not the mindset that you need to have. You need to surrender that.
I find that I do creative stuff outside of work. I find that you're constantly comparing yourself to, you look at somebody else that's maybe made it. Maybe you look at Dan Bremnes, or you look at Jordan, you're like, man, they're living in Nashville. They did it. But here I am, and you're comparing, and it's not even the same trajectory.
That's it.
Because what people will miss out on is someone like Jordan played for 15 years in bars and doing covers, and he never did anything.
Exactly.
And now he is where he is because of that.
Yeah.
And it's the same with any other type of career path. And I will say this: conversations I've had, there is a desire on the non-artist side for us to get better distribution, better ways for artists to get connected, and we're trying to do it right now.
That's right.
So that's a good thing, and I think that conversations like this can kind of help it along when we go to meet in our next meeting and different things like that. Because I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of people, and I think we all agree that the Christian Canadian music needs, as a whole, like artists, produced, everybody, we can do better than we're doing.
Sure.
In the sense that we need to like boost, we need to boost you guys up.
That's a good point. Can I make a few more, Justin, on that?
Do it.
A couple things, guys, across the listening area. Like there's guys here at Inspire. We're sitting next to Adam, know, and Adam wears many hats, and Justin wears many hats at Joy. And guys, we need to uplift them for the work that they're already doing, and we need to support them and say, hey, thanks for doing what you're doing. So as artists that aren't getting our way and we're not getting what we want, we need to, and this is me too, I'm speaking to myself,
right?
We need to get rid of that self mentality, because it's so absorbed us and it's so absorbed the culture. But as the church, we are supposed to be different.
Yep.
So we need to, what does the Bible say?